Yeah, so here we go again. It is, I believe, Thursday. No, it's Friday, the 19th of July, 2024. The time is 21 to 8 in the PM. That's the camera. Shush, I'm not talking to you. Um, there we go. That should be shut up for now. Today has been an alright, productive day. Had a hard time getting going again in the morning. But I did manage to organise to be able to shoot for Schlieren Imaging next Thursday. In the cellar of my former place of internship, I've asked the subletter and they have no opposition to that. So that's going to be something. Looking forward to it. Also written up the gear list of what I'll need from my former place of internship. To my understanding, I should not be billed for it. There is no price. It's sponsoring. Just because I'm handy and I stick around, I guess. To be fair, they're probably getting more out of me than I am out of them, just because I don't need the stuff everyone need anyways. I just need some odd, rare stuff that's not needed much. And I know they got it, so two birds, one stone. I'm gonna get to the point really rather quickly. Just a short mention. I did stop by my regular supermarket on my way here. I got myself a couple of drinks, so I got something to drink while I talk with myself. One is Jamaican old ginger beer, lovely for this weather. We've got roughly 30 degrees centigrade air temperature. Have had for most of the day. I believe it peaked at like 34 centigrade, and it's fairly humid. And the other is Iron Brew, just because why not, feeling like I want some more diabetes. No, just kidding. €3.10 for the drinks, another 50 pence deposit. Well, cents. The main subject I want to get to today is yesterday, after talking to myself on a road I was admittedly not familiar with. I said so at the time. I ran a red light. Not happy to say this, but I feel I need to disclose it for the sake of transparency. So here I am. Good news is I have a dash cam now, which is what you hear whenever I turn on or off the ignition to check temperature or whatever it may be. So I was actually able to debrief myself somewhat. It's still on my mind and it's going to take a while to digest. First off, I do think the thesis stuff might have something to do with it. Just because I've had my mind elsewhere and I feel my time has been wasted, but yeah. That might have something to do with it. Then again, it's not an excuse. I fucked up. Good news is no accidents happened. I braked before I would have collided with other traffic, so did they. At the next traffic lights, I apologised and thanked. So, yeah. It's just I looked into the rearview mirror, and all of a sudden the cars behind me stopped. I mean, admittedly, they were a bit behind because they were doing below the speed limit. And I accelerated to the speed limit rather rapidly, so, people going below the speed limit are behind me, essentially. A lot of the times I get green waves because of this. In this case, it was not. It was very red. I got it on video. Hell. For my debrief, the conclusion I've drawn from it is I'll look more out for lights in procedural long right corners, because I have the suspicion that I was looking at the light behind the one, because they were only 20 meters apart, which was to the right of the light on the right, which means I might have perceived it closer because they're both emissive. Additionally, the one I did run had some strobe going. It turned off for like a second before turning back on, which in my mind may have made me think it was not a traffic light. Because since when do traffic lights just turn off and on? It was only a fraction of a second, maybe a second, But I got on video, hell. It's fucking weird, but oh well. I'm just hoping that I caught it. And that was the one time I did run a red light, and that is not a regular occurrence, and I just haven't caught it before. Then again, I haven't been involved in many accidents, so I'll just have to assume I caught it the one time I did do it, which is not good. I have started wondering whether I am fit for driving, but then I look at these other people who do everything but drive while they drive, And I reckon if they're fit for the road, I am too. Which is comparison, and comparison's kind of in the way of joy. But comparison also shows you how good your life is. I mean, hell, it could always be worse, you know. Let me crack open this ginger beer. Could have been fatal. Speed limit was 50 kph. I crossed the red light and went where traffic would be with 49 kph, according to GPS. Not great. Then again, both I and the party I would have collided with braked in time. Guess that's why we have redundancies. They were very understanding, and I was very thankful. For the obvious reason of I effed up, you know. Happens. Because apparently that's what humans can do. Federal police just driven by out of this cul-de-sac, which made me think they were down by the rails. I would not know why, but, well, that's just the way it is. I'll get back to the main subject in just a moment, but another thing I managed today is I went by the recommended copy shop, recommended by the tea shop owner. They were very nice. I just got myself some advice and jotted down some notes. They just want in a full PDF, 2 days for turnover, which is perfectly fine for me. I'd be happy with 5 days at this time, I believe. 5 days would be cutting it close, but 2 days is perfectly fine. And I did go by the tea shop after going by my former place for internship in between. With us running the red light stuff, I think I'll look out more so than I generally do anyways in continuous right turns. For the top light was, I believe, overgrown by a tree. I have it on video, I'll check after this, but for practical purposes it was behind a tree, the top of the stoplights. The left was a left turning lane, stoplight with an arrow, so that would have been red nonetheless. And the right one, I missed straightforward. It did flash once briefly, and there was a light behind on which I was focused, but it's not an excuse, man. I fucked up, and I am thinking I'll have to, at least for the near future, disclose this to any potential passengers. Look at this. This was me driving. I guess it does put one down back to earth, showing one is human after all. But I don't feel great, man. I feel pretty horrendous. Another thing is, my shorts have been wearing through in the crotch area to the point where I've patched them in the past. I've now ordered 2 more other pairs, not the same brand, similar style though, lots of pockets. It's money I didn't want to spend, but in the end of the day, I've got to spend it eventually. And one thing I opened up Pandora's box with, in some way, of economic spending that is, so I ordered myself a nice shirt to go along with the trousers. It's a button-up shirt, but one can wear every day. Problem is, one of those costs $30, but it's supposedly durable cloth, you know. So, it's going to be a while before I could afford to switch out my uniform with that, anyways. But I figured it looked fancy, you know, and I like it, so it's better than this grey stuff. Then again, with shirts, I open up a whole different thing. First off, acquiring them is going to cost triple digits to have enough for uniform. And second off, with shirts, you wouldn't want them rolled because you wouldn't want them creased. With a t-shirt, I couldn't care less. With a dress shirt, or a work dress shirt, or whatever one might want to call it, one wouldn't want them creased. So I've looked into clothes hanger designs and folding clothes hangers because I remembered this being something by Simone Gates of California, I believe. They did do something, and there was a Kickstarter and it was delivered, but you cannot buy them at this time, which is kind of a bummer. So I've signed up for the newsletter for those. If they become available, I may just get some of those, because, you know, 2/3 of depth is 2/3 of depth. And I'm considering hanging things like that over my bed, just because there's so much vertical space I don't use. And if it were to collapse, it's not the end of the day with just a few clothes, you know. What can be the end of the day is when I'm running a red light, and I've been punishing myself for the past 22 hours, I guess, approximately. Don't feel great at all. And that was unintentional. I mean, there's plenty of people in this city who appear to be running them intentionally, for they switch lanes to overtake cars that are stopped at the lights. It's not like I've done that. Then again, with doing it intentionally, I'm assuming they're at least checking where crossing traffic would be coming from, which is something I did not do, because I did not even realise there was a light till after the fact. Seeing cars in my rearview mirror stopped, and the other person in the car whom I'd cut off telling me there was a light there upon my request, which is fucking weird, man. It don't feel good. Don't sit well with me. In other news, I've considered crossing the border to get some diesel and cigarettes. I may still do this tomorrow or so. Probably not doing it today, just because it's too long a day already. And it's not even that long. It's only been, 7 hours since I left my place. Because I had a hard time getting going. Currently my paper is still out for proofreading. I should get that back sometime over the weekend, latest Monday. And then I'll just have to assemble a PDF. Optimally, I'd assemble the PDF before, so I can just insert those pages once I've done my corrections. But I will still have to write a couple of paragraphs just to add symmetry to the aspects I've discussed in the thesis. That I may do tonight, for the sake of getting it over with. You know. It's really bloody warm. Still 29 degrees centigrade. My overall driving haven't been great to my standard, for I'm less patient than I'd like to be, particularly with other drivers. Earlier I had a situation which most people probably wouldn't deem close, but I had the right of way in merging in the other car's lane because my lane was closing and I'd already let one pass. And they were really up my bum to the point where I almost didn't pull over, and I almost braked hard because getting over was going to be a hard one. Managed to after all anyways. Joke is, I'm not in a hurry when I go anywhere. It's just I haven't got the patience in me to give people time. Then again, it is also the law with German rules of the road, StVO, Straßenverkehrsordnung, paragraph 1, number 2, paragraph being the overall chapters in German regulation, number 2 being you shouldn't hinder other people unnecessarily, which they are doing at times by going significantly below the speed limit. I'm talking half or less. If you're looking for parking, yeah, okay. If you're looking for parking, it's kind to indicate that, with at least indicators, you know. That's what they are for. And I believe I've got the plod sitting behind me. Yeah, I do, but they're just looking to pass. Yay. That's the second plod who've come from there. Funnily enough, I thought this was a cul-de-sac for the longest time. I'm going to shut the window because a street sweep is coming along and it's rather noisy, and the problem is there's reflections off the other side as well. Oh no. Ooh, reflections of sound reminds me of something. With my bachelor's thesis film, I still got almost 3 full weeks before it's due, but I'm already wondering on whether I should or should not include audio. For audio is 51% of film. Then again, I'm not doing my bachelor's thesis on film, I'm doing it on video art, which I have explicitly defined as sound shan't be part of it for this work, and the film is supposed to accommodate the thesis, though the film weighs more than double in final evaluation as to what the actual thesis does, with which I still feel cheated. But I guess that's the past, you know. And I still got to invest some time in the thesis because I ain't formatted it yet. Not completely. I've done my paragraphs, but I still got to add a couple. Then I got to export it and separate it all with page numbers to finally merge the page numbers using PDF24 or some other PDF editor. I believe PDF24 is the way instead of Adobe for this, because I just want to merge PDFs, which that allow really easily. Some nice cold ginger beer, and there's a sprinter halted behind me with lights on, pretty close to the middle of the road. Then again, pretty close to the middle of the road. Today I witnessed 3 counts of each several cars being parked more than half a metre away from the curb, which I thought was not legal. Then again, the letter of the law and reality of the law vary drastically in this city and this country. Oh well, you know. I guess I'm kind of glad to know I've run the red light, because I wouldn't want to run it and not know it. That'd be worse. Then again, there is no stating I did not run red lights and not know it. My attention was entirely on the road at the time. I have it on video, for fuck's sake, you know. I was enjoying with the music, jamming along, but eyes on the road and hands on the wheel. No, eyes on the wheel, hands on the road. There we go. And I think it's just really concerning. Person behind getting out, doing something on their phone. Good for them. Oh well. Yes, that's more than slightly concerned. I reckon I'll get to play some video games when I get home, even though it's fucking hot. And I'll probably just want to go to bed. I'll force myself to play some video games to somewhat keep my circadian rhythm aligned with the societal norm. Just because, you know, makes sense in my book. Street sweep is now coming down this side of the road, and they haven't halted to ask me to leave, but I think I may just. I'll be right back at a different road. See you in a moment. Yeah, so here we go. I've reparked to the point where I can most certainly now stay. The usual spot where I just was, just for a moment ago for you, is theoretically no parking, is only halting, and I believe I am just halting because I am available to leave. It is in the spirit of halting, not in the letter of halting, because I am not getting in or out, nor am I loading or unloading, and I am halted for longer than 3 minutes. I guess that's me working on the spirit of the law instead of the letter of the law. Whew. It's really fucking warm. Yeah, still 28.5 degrees centigrade. Now we are in the sun, though. The sun does not help. One thing I noticed both immediately after finding out I'd run a red light and just now again, and I have noticed every time I got in the car since running a red light, I guess, is there's surprisingly many lights that are just off. I believe I encountered double digits today, and I didn't do that many Ks today. I didn't drive that far whatsoever, you know. And I still think it's fucking horrible I missed one. Good news is, so far it's one out of however many lights I've driven through in my life, to my knowledge at least. Which is not acceptable, but it's understandable. And I forgive others quite a lot, so I reckon I ought to forgive myself. Ooh. I mean, one red light in a career driving is too much already in my book. Because if everybody ran one red light, we'd have thousands of dead people in traffic every year. Then again, I highly suspect we do. It's not acceptable, really. Oh well, you know. Don't sit well with me whatsoever. Don't like it. With my academic work and I guess currently artistic work as well, it's kind of odd because I feel as if I were running on a mostly autopilot, which is dangerous in traffic, and I believe I still do it anyways on roads I frequently drive, which yesterday was not the case, which means I would not have been on autopilot because I haven't driven that road before. Highly suspect never before, maybe once before, but I've certainly never frequented that road, which means I would not have been on autopilot in my book at least. Sorry for the shit optics. Oh, there we go. If I put a towel up here, it'll work. So we'll do that. That'll solve the problem. There we go. Cast some shade. Some negative fill. Magical. I mean, we'd have thousands dead every year in traffic if everyone were to run the red light once in a while. From red light issues by themselves. We have thousands dead in traffic every year. I'm highly confident of that. Well, maybe not in this country, but at least, this continent we got thousands, that's for sure. But it's still not acceptable. On the other hand, I don't mind not having gotten points on my license or having to pay a hefty fee because, hell, I'm punishing myself a lot already. Just by thinking about it, as close to non-stop as one can think about something without being unfunctional. Kind of a bummer, I am actually going to turn on the ignition to get some airflow in here. There we go. In a moment you'll hear the camera again, sorry for that. I have seen another reg recently. It was Georgia, which I believe was 164. Let me see. Yep, no, 162, Georgia. Diplomat reg. I'll send one of those today, so if I keep going with this trend, within a year I'll have most of the regs down, which is going to be a fun one, just for funsies, Look at a reg plate and be able to say which country it represents. It's funny how amusing the little things in life can be, and it's beautiful at the same time. I really like it. I aim to keep it that way. Enjoy the little things in life. And realistically, I know I should stop beating myself up over that red light. I also know I'm not going to be able to for the next couple of days at least, perhaps more. Just because, that killed people, man. I don't want to be one of them people that do something that statistically increases the risk of people dying. Come on. Statistically increase the risk of people dying, as in, if I do it, it may not kill someone, but if everyone do it, it certainly do. Time for more towel to the face. There we go. Yeah, I don't like doing those things because at the end of the day, if everyone do them, it kill people. And that's one of the few things people don't get, that you cannot return, I guess, that you don't get back. Was first off, a life. I highly believe for the person dead it wouldn't matter, but surprise, most every person is known by some people alive, and for them it's not fucking amazing, to put mildly. Another thing one can't give back to people, and one can't get back from people, is one's time. Then again, I'm robbing my own time off of me as a punishment, I guess, because I'm punishing myself by thinking about it all the time, which in my eyes should be considered just, I guess. I deserve it. And again, I've got self-esteem issues. I don't know if I truly deserve it. I'm positively surprised by how quickly I've managed to switch gears in terms of my thesis film. Originally I weren't going to start pre-production until the 1st of August. Now we've reached a point where I've already done some pre-production and I'll be producing next Thursday in 6 days' time, which is amazing. I do have to say I am rather happy with that, with myself, with my own performance for that, you know. And again, it feels like it's running on autopilot. Just because I got enough knowledge for not having to think much about it. I wrote the gear list in not much time whatsoever. Just because I know what I need. Admittedly, I went toward the maximum extreme. Because I know they have it all in-house and they aren't going to not have it at that time. It's not going to cost them a penny to have me cart it downstairs. And I'd rather have it than not have it in case I need it. Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, you know. Because usually sets cost money. Good news is mine do not. Mine only cost my time and some favours. I'm really happy that Subletter agreed to let me use their studio. They do got a green screen in there. I don't plan on using the green screen. I just need the studio as a space. A space, that is countable space. So space with constraints. Not general space, which is a prerequisite for countable spaces. Where there is no space, there is not. Yeah, we humans can't fathom a outside of space existing. That's because there is no space there. It does not have spatial dimensions. At least in concept it should exist, I guess. I think that's more a philosophy question than a physics one, to be fair. Thank you very much for sticking around watching this me talk to myself. It can be frustrating at times, I believe. Mean the world to me, you stick around and all. Assuming you do, thank you very much. I guess if you heard this, you do stick around. I'm hoping to not run any more red lights. I'm hoping you don't run red lights. Stay safe, I'll see you around. Cheerio.